Good evening and welcome to the second episode of What Now Irishman. My guest today is a friend and colleague called Deborah O Driscoll. So I'm going to bring her up straight away and say hi.
Hi.
Debs, how are you
How's it
keeping?
going? I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm gonna.
Come here, that's a mighty intro. They're coming in on that. That's a mighty intro. Looks well by.
It's all right. It's all right. It's I was messing around with AI a while back, a couple of years ago, and you see this image behind me. You probably can't see it, but it's a little man walking there. That guy on his own. I was asking to give a visual representation of how Ireland felt right now, and this is what spat back to me, and it just resonated with me. Picture this lonely guy walking through this canyon, and there's castles and terror ahead and stuff like that. So it just built the show around it. Anyway, enough about me.
But he goes on anyway. Though, doesn't he? No matter how scary, he goes on anyway.
He does. Now, so what now, Irish woman? That's the question I'm posing to people.
What now? So I have to just have all the answers out here in the spot.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. 100%.
Wow. Cheers, Martin. Okay. What now? Well, do you know what? Can I actually say half the stuff that I want to say?
Uncensored, unedited, free speech platform.
Exactly what I've been saying for years and years and years. The country has to be shut down. The ports have to be blocked. There's no point in going around, like, as much as I think it's fantastic when people get involved and people do something. We're going around asking them nicely with our flags for the last 4 years, and on a Saturday, it's not going to do anything about it, and it's not going to upset anyone. We're just going to give them a load more money. They're going to have, travel expenses, people going for a pint, people going for food. All we're doing is giving them money and going back off home at the end of the day. We have to go and mean business like the other countries. We're the fighting Irish, you know what I mean?
But are we?
We are, but I think that the game they've played, the demoralizing, the just breaking everyone's spirits down as much as they possibly could, I think that has played a lot into it. Plus you have the chemtrails, plus you have what they're doing to the food and the water,
Let's talk about food. Actually, no, let's go back to the start. Okay. Who was Deborah O Driscoll pre-2000?
Wow. Probably very different, actually. Very different. I looked different. I was over 200 pounds heavier. I suppose, I don't know. I always knew there was something. I always wanted to be a mom. Always wanted to be a mom. That was, ever since I was young, I wanted to be a mom. But I always knew there was something else too. And since COVID and since I kind of started to research and really look into things, I've realized there's a lot more to be learned and to do. I don't know. She wasn't like this anyway. She wasn't. She was always a bit of a, what do we say? She never took shit, right? But it's like this whole thing has just amplified. Like, I was a mom. I was, on like autism committees. I was, arranging like luncheons for fundraisers, this kind of thing, very different. Yeah.
Typical.
Complete another soccer mom, yeah.
Just I'm gonna segue into something there. So you said you were on autism committees. So basically, you were in the community championing that's so hard to say that word, you know what I mean, but causes that affect your life, as everybody should do, as in basically if you have autism in your house, of course you should be campaigning for better support services, because they're sorely lacking. That's part of the social contract, you know what I mean, that basically something affects you, you go out and you promote it, you highlight it, and you try and get as much support for yourself. But the whole concept is, by getting as much support for yourself, by extension, you help everybody else in the similar situation.
Yeah.
So in relation to that, how does that differ from what you're doing now? Because you're still campaigning for a better future for everyone.
I suppose it was a lot different in that everybody would kind of like encourage you with that kind of stuff, and they would give you support, and they wouldn't have any bad ideas or think you'd any hidden agendas or this. It was just, oh yeah, that's something that's real. And yeah, but very different now. You have to equate and justify every move, every decision, everything you say, every way you look. It's ridiculous because now everybody is pitted to try and stop you, to try and put you in your stop you in your tracks, to try and bring you down. It's very, very different, though we may be still campaigning for things, but the support and the camaraderie so openly back then in that type of a situation was fantastic. Everyone wanted to chip in, everyone wanted to help, everyone wanted to buy tickets for the ball, everyone wanted to, now, God, you stand up and try to speak out and do something and yourself what you're faced with, you know what I mean?
I think we have the same washing machine.
Do we? Does yours play a little song for you too?
Mine plays the same tune. That's brilliant. We knew the washing machine was going to go off during the recording. So, but yeah, I have the same. Mine plays the exact same tune when it finishes.
I'd be upstairs and it's like my alarm's like, come on, finished.
Yeah, I'm the same now. I just did my weekly wash as well, so the tumbler has to go on in about half an hour. And get
weekly?
Ready
Go away with you weekly. I'd be lucky if I got away with I don't know. There could be at least 2 loads done here a day.
All my lads are grown up. There's no. Everybody's self-sufficient in my in
very
my
lucky.
life.
You're very lucky.
You'll miss it. You're going to miss it so much when they grow up. You're going to miss.
I will.
Christmas is different. Everything is different. It's just not the. It's just not the same. You'll enjoy every minute you have with your children when they're small. Yeah. Don't get caught up in work. Don't get caught up in none of it's important. None of it's important. No. Spending time with your kids is the most important thing. Unfortunately, you only learn that a little bit too late. So you were involved in what we call clean activism.
Yeah,
right? We'll throw that term in it, right? Okay. So for autism services, which are very, very, very important. COVID happened. So what was your life like between 2000 and 2003?
Well, I was supposed to get married 2 weeks after we went into lockdown. That didn't happen. We ended up splitting up during COVID, and I suppose that was the way my life was going. It was going to continue on as it had done for the previous maybe 14, 15 years. And I was going to get married, and I was going to continue being an oblivious, to a certain extent, maybe soccer mom, I suppose, like you called it, you know what I mean? Yeah, things were very different, very different. There was so much that I didn't know then. There was so much there's so much yet that I still don't know, but what I've learned since then has absolutely blown my mind. It's to question everything now. Absolutely.
Are you aware of the concept of Mount Stupid? Have you ever heard that term?
Mount Stupid.
Mount Stupid. Yeah. No. It's very interesting. When you get off Google it'll show you exactly where we are. I would say that we are currently descending Mount Stupid,
right.
Because the concept is that you gain a little bit of information and you think you know everything, and you're sitting on top of what they call Mount Stupid, and you think, I know this, I know this, I know this. And then slowly, because you have that little bit of knowledge, you start getting more and more knowledge, and you realize that you know absolutely nothing. And that's the descent from Mount Stupid. After Mount Stupid, unfortunately, comes a big hole of depression, because you realize that you can never know everything, and you will never understand everything. And most importantly, you can affect so little. And then you start climbing back up again to a place of true knowledge. It's fantastic. You get graphs online and stuff like that, but that's the self-awareness to realize that you don't know everything, and you can't know everything, and there's so much we don't know. That's it. You've actually already won, because, like I said, you're descending Mount Stupid, and enlightenment lies at the end of it eventually. Do you mind me poking a little bit about the breakup and stuff like that? Was it COVID? Was it that life was so disrupted? Was it?
No. Do you know what? Maybe I think it was just, it just was what it was. I think it had maybe, you can be in a relationship for a long time, and there can be some problems building, and then maybe something like that just maybe bears everything out for you. When you're in a situation like that, maybe you do take stock a little bit and reassess certain situations. And yeah, it was maybe something that was a while coming. I don't think it was necessarily COVID, but maybe the situations of COVID gave everyone, I think, a lot of time to think,
Yeah, it's one of the statistics that doesn't get spoken about enough. We have the excess deaths, we have the vaccine injured. It's obviously massive, and obviously the harm done to children with school, etc. But the amount of marriages that collapsed during COVID was and we'll say shortly after COVID, the damage that was done to society was it's going to take decades. I mean, absolute decades to repair and undo it. And again, because we live in the kind of goldfish memory society, it's all just brushed under the carpet, and we'll just move on. We have a new crisis, we have a new flag to put in our bios, etc.
That's very deliberate. I would think, though, do you? That like there's constantly something. You know, it's like, oh, look at this hand, forget about what's happening over here. You know what I mean? Like, it's very deliberate, I would think.
Yeah, the previous conversation I had that I recorded last Monday with Murlock, and like good guy, good conversation. But you know, I would agree with everything he's saying. I like some of his concepts, but he said that I started talking about the Pascal O'Donoghue 10 million to, and he just went, "That's just distraction. It's just distraction. That's out there to distract you from what they're really doing." So it's yeah, we're being attacked on all fronts. It's a constant propaganda stream. It's a constant. Look, there's CIA tactics being used there. There's military tactics being used there. Nudge units, etc., etc. You know, a lot of people would say that 90% of the population don't want to wake up because they don't have the capacity to deal with the fact that they're literally nothing more than a debt slave, and they're completely expendable, they're completely disposable, and they're, you know what I mean, from a state point of view, their lives mean absolutely nothing. A lot of people don't want to face that reality.
Absolutely. Now, I don't know if it would be 90% now, but I definitely think that there's a certain percentage of people that refuse to acknowledge any sort of logic in anything that you're saying. Like, just flat out, no, don't, like, just no, right? And then I think that there's another amount of people that get it and they know, but they just pretend they don't because they can't. It's like, it's too much, you know? They can't take it in. They can't, just exactly what you said. It's that humbling experience that you are literally nothing to them. They will exploit you and your children and your everything, and the whole kind of life and the dream and everything that you have built is all, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can curse away. You don't need to. It's like I said, it's a free speech platform.
I have to be careful because, you know, I've got a bit of a problem. Like, I've got a sailor's mouth, like, you know.
Yeah, just let it go. So, COVID ended, right? You got involved in a different kind of activism. So you've ran in a couple of elections with the Irish people. Talk to me about that. Talk to me about the into it. How did you go from we'll say the kind of traditional mom, you know, fighting your little corner for your kids to you know, a relationship breakup, and then into one of the filthiest, dirtiest things you could do, politics? Like, how?
Absolutely.
What happened?
I think politics, was more like a last resort. It was like, I felt like I thought maybe at the time that I had tried everything else. I tried to wake everybody up. I started to see what was happening. And for some reason, I was seeing a lot more of this stuff in videos and news feeds and whatever. And I was going, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Like, and something wasn't sitting right with me, that there was something in the back of my head that the more I'd watch it, the more I'd get this gnawing fear that there's something really wrong here. Something bad's happening here, like, you know. And then it was Ross Cray. Ross Cray finally did it for me. When I saw what happened there, it was like all the fears, all the worries that, are they doing this? Are they up to this? What if this? No, you know, like, stop, Debs. That was it. That was, they're doing exactly what I thought they were doing. You know what I mean? Like, it was then everything just blew up and opened up, and I went down one rabbit hole, and that brought me another one and another one and another one. And I just was thirsty for knowledge. I wanted it all. I wanted to know. And I probably went too hard on it because I made myself a little bit sick. But I calmed down then. And I suppose the more that I looked into it, the more I wanted to fight for what was right. It took me a while to get there now. You know, at the start I was kind of like, no, I'll just say things. But you kind of do a bit of work on yourself. And I think when I realized after a while there was never really going to be any other choice. There's always been this thing inside me ever since I was small about Collins and the War of Independence and this and that. There's stuff that I used to be watching even as a child that I get really emotional about, that no rhyme or reason to me getting emotional about it at 6 years of age, like watching Cork burn down 100 years ago, you know what I mean? But I was like, and I know there's always been something inside me, and I feel everything happens for a reason. Not that this shitstorm should be happening for a reason, but every bump and obstacle along the way is molding you, I think, for where you need to get to, if that makes sense.
It does. It makes 100% to me. I believe in a thing called genetic memory. And I think a lot of the people that are involved in our movement, if they did it and trace back their ancestry, they'd find out they were very, very old people and here a long time, and they have a massive connection to the soil. And I think that's why you kind of find it a little bit more on the West Coast. Yeah, we're just a little bit more.
Excuse me now, Murphy, right? The O'Driscolls in Cork, we have plenty of it down here, okay? Plenty of it. I still have castles now. They're not fully standing. So I work on that, and I get the O'Driscoll castles back up just down the road there.
Very good. I get a noble endeavor. That would be actually something. Let's build castles again. let's build forts.
Just go down to like maybe the two bricks that might be left from the O'Driscoll castle. I'm like, I'm going to start again. Two stones.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? A lifetime family project.
It's pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Well, look, you can say I could sell that as a propaganda piece. You know, it's we're in a war of information. You know what I mean? The independence wars of guns won't happen. Unfortunately we're too soft and we're too civilized, and it isn't going to work. What you're actually fighting for, and it boils down to the old what the communists and the Marxists were after. They were after the means of production, and the means of production is your fucking soul. That's what they want. They want your soul. So we have to have a propaganda war, and we have to have an intelligence war, and you know that's how we do it. But things like that, to actually go, there is another way to live. You know what I mean? You don't have to be. You know, there's some people saying we have to tear down the system. There's some people saying we can change it from the inside. You're never going to find utopia. You're never going to find the perfect solution. But what you can do is encourage communities to step out of it. Just get out of the rat race. Slow down. Don't need to be moving as fast. Do your own thing. State bodies come near you. Politely tell them to F off, that you don't need them, you don't want them. And if we build enough communities, enough brave people to do that, we don't have to worry about what they're doing in Dublin. Yeah. We can fence Dublin off and go, yeah, you keep that bit, no problem. The rest of Ireland is going to be fine. In relation to the future, so okay, we'll go back to the politics. So you ran. The political sphere with nationalism is I'm okay in saying this now because I've been in and out of it and been involved in so that it's a joke, right? There's no other way to describe it. It is a joke from top to bottom. Before entering, I believed there was two kind of established bodies there that were had been tipping away for 5 or 6 years, and I thought they were good. And one was promoting National Socialism, the other one was promoting kind of a centre right strong anti-EU kind of policies. Both seemed stable and functioning, small but stable and functioning. Once you get into the weeds, you realise that, you know what I mean, it is just. It was just a mess for loads of reasons, and some other like Ireland First, sorry, not Ireland First, but independent, Ireland First, Independent Ireland, and the Irish People kind of all came on the scene then, as alternatives. Independent Ireland being pretty much more the same, in my personal opinion. Just, you know what I mean.
Just a bit more refined and stuff, like, you know, like they're saying the same things that I was saying 2 years ago, but they're saying it in a suit, so it's okay, you know.
Yeah, sanctioned. So I class them as sanctioned opposition. Yeah, but everything else was due to lack of funding. And I'm going to throw something at you, and I want your opinion on it. Okay. I believe the nationalist movement has, and people will get mad at me for saying this, an IQ problem. That there are people who have good intentions but don't have the ability to build.
Okay.
And when I say build, I mean build ideas, formulate organizations, write policy, etc., etc., etc. don't have the ability to work well with others. Like I said, they're go back to the Mount Stupid. They're sitting on Mount Stupid and they think they know it all. I personally think that's my problem. I don't believe it's half as nefarious or malicious as we're sometimes led to believe. I believe it's a lot of it is just ignorance and not accepting that you don't know everything. What would your thoughts on that be? Or
I think I do think that now I wouldn't say it's an IQ problem, but I would think that there are a lot of misunderstandings. I think I tend to be in a position where I can kind of see everything from an outside point of view. And I'm watching it and I'm watching, just say, this group's fighting with this group, that one's fighting with that group, this one doesn't talk to this one, you can't talk to this. And I'm sitting here going, okay, this crowd is saying that they're this, that, and the other. And then they have this, that, and the other to prove it and back it up because they already think it. So everything looks like it. So now it's this. And the names that are being thrown out, this one's a shill, a rat, a tout, a this, it's bananas, And then the exact same people on this side will have the same problems with this crowd, and they'll think that they have perfectly legitimate reasons and evidence to think it too. And a lot of it is just misunderstanding and egos and people you don't have to like each other. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm sure Collins and De Valera didn't like each other, but put it aside and get on with things. You know what I mean? I think that there's a lot of misunderstanding. I think that there's a lot of nastiness too. I've seen some real nastiness out of people. Real silly. We've seen violence. We've seen physical violence actually as well. You know what I mean? I mean, things can get way, way out of hand. And for what? Are we not all supposed to be fighting the enemy instead of each other? Sure, they're up there licking their lips, so they are. They're delighted watching us.
What do you think? Let's go to the physical violence and the actual nastiness. You've experienced it. I've experienced it. What is driving that? Before we sit down to talk today, I was actually thinking about that. I was actually thinking about I've been involved in so many organizations, so many businesses and sports clubs and stuff like that. And there was always people who didn't like me, but no one ever hated me with the passion. Yet since I've got involved in nationalism, there's a couple of people and they genuinely despise me. They want me dead, but maybe they don't. Maybe that's just yap talk and stuff like that. But what I'm saying to you is, where does that hatred come from in relation to that? We're actually on the same journey. We might be on different roads, but the destination is the same. What do you think is driving that anger and hatred?
I don't know. I mean, it depends, I suppose, where it's coming from. A lot of what I would call the lefties, and I feel the hatred that they have inside them is, I think a lot of them they're going to be like, no, that's not true. We just hate you, Debs. Whatever. That's grand, I mean, I think a lot of them are typically people who would be yearning for that sense of belonging or involvement. And I think that they get great pleasure out of the reactions that they get from others when they're horrible about us online. It gives them some sort of validation. And I think that's a big bit to it. There's a validation that they get from each other in this nastiness, which is very ironic because they're all be kind and be inclusive, and they're the most toxic people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, they're very, very unhappy people. And if you're unhappy, when you look in the mirror and you're unhappy with yourself, that manifests itself into nastiness. So the majority of left people, and that's what brings them together. They find some sort of resonance in that we'll say that mesh of unhappy people. You see it, you can see the anger, but also the sadness at the protests when you see the lefties. If you actually look at them, I walk straight in front of them and I look them in the eye and I don't say anything. I just smile, and look, you can see the sadness in their eyes, you can see the unhappiness, you can see the loneliness. But the funny thing is, people I was a lefty when I was a teenager. I would fall into but
we've all been through a little bit of that, I think.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is, I would have believed in socialist ideologies and that everybody should get a fair shout. And you see, it's easy to understand that when you don't have bills to pay, and as soon as you start making your way in life, you kind of go, oh, okay, that's why that can't happen. That's why that could happen. And as you mature, then you're supposed to become more conservative. It's the natural order of things. Why is it not happening now? Why are there 50-year-old men waving rainbow flags and
I don't know,
Palestine flags?
I mean, the younger crowd, I can kind of see it just say like, you know, the ones that are going around, like they're coming out of UCC and you like, don't, I went to UCC and I don't mean that in a bad way, but a lot of them come out of there like this going, you know, and the
Communists,
thing
yeah,
they're talking
they're
about,
communist factories, yeah.
you know what I mean? And like they're all coming out and they're saying there, James Connolly was all this. I'm like, you have never even done a day's work in your life and you're talking about socialism for the world. You shut your mouth, will you? Like you can't listen to them. They're just absolutely full of codswallops. So they're absolutely full of shite. They really, really, really grind my gears, as Peter Griffin would say.
Very good. I like the reference. So how do you fix it? How do you unindoctrinate? So this from my research, this goes back to basically the 1960s. The cultural Marxists essentially infiltrated the universities, the Ivy League colleges in America. That's kind of where it started. It was under the Kennedy presidency and affirmative action where a lot of it happens. The communist Marxist is a chameleon, so they can change their views to suit whatever society they're in. So education, and again, a lot of these high-end professors in the colleges, although they're intelligent, they're all, remember, still sitting right on top of Mount Stupid and they never came down. So how do you unindoctrinate entire generations of third-level people who are going into, they're getting their degrees and then realizing that AI is actually now going to do the job that they've spent the last 4 to 7 years training for. They live at home with mommy and daddy. They can't get a house. They can't leave the country either because their skills are not required. Australia, Canada, etc. wants nurses, doctors, and men with hairy backs and strong shoulders. So there's going to be a whole generation of these snowflakes.
There is, yeah. I don't know how we would unindoctrinate them, but I mean,
how do you put them? What do you do with them?
You see, you'd understand to a certain extent the you know, the ones I mean, the young 20s and whatever, and the older ones have really surprised me. That's really, really surprised me. But I think there's an element in that of them not getting the whole thing, them genuinely believing the propaganda that it's a racist and homophobic and bigoted type of a movement, and that I think they just don't get the situation. They really don't get what's happening. They're starting to, but there are some people that are, I genuinely think they're paid, they're professional protesters. I really think they are, that they're paid to care, they're paid to be there. And I genuinely believe that, because there's some people that are so hateful, they get obsessed. They literally get obsessed. There was a one that made she had a whole page about me. This whole page was about me. And I was going, I literally don't even think about you, like, you weirdo. Like, no happy people pull each other down, you know? I think they're just all... How do we get rid of them? Well, listen, I have maybe an answer.
I know. I didn't say get rid of them. That's the easy solution. That's the easiest thing. The easiest thing to do, whether you be left, right, or anything, is just get rid of the opposition. You see, that's easy. That doesn't fix the problem. That's just basically eliminating people who annoy you, which you can't do. You said some interesting. You said some interesting words there: racist, bigot, etc. All these nonsense words that mean nothing now. So
mean nothing.
I proudly say that I'm tribalist. I'm extremely tribalist, and in my tribalism, I have a hierarchy. So my brothers and sisters who align with me will come first, and I include my family, my friends, all my nuclear circle. They come first, 100%. And the closer you live to me, the more I care about you. It's as simple as that, because they're things that I could potentially affect. Then there's the wider Irish community, including the diaspora. Then it moves to faith. So basically, if you're Christian European, then you're there, and we go down and down, down and down and down and down. And religion is important to me. So your Christian Nigerian is on my list. I only bear ill will to those ideologies and peoples who bear me ill will. So Islam bears me ill will. It is written in their literature about 70 times.
Yeah, I literally said that in a video this morning. I said there's no such thing as Islamophobia. The very definition of a phobia is an irrational fear of something. What's irrational about somebody saying, I don't like you, I don't like your values, I want to slaughter you, your kids, your family, all your values, your land, I want to conquer it, I want to bring in Sharia law. I'm not like, that's not irrational for me to be afraid of that.
It's not. And I have certain levels of tolerance, but then it's limited. Like at the minute, we have a huge issue with legal migration in relation to Indians and Pakistanis coming over here. I used to work in business. I used to get CVs all the time from India, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from all these countries. People who weren't even in the country looking to apply for minimum wage jobs, washing pots or something like that in Ireland, and that's that once they've worked, they can come over but those people will never stop because their population is so big. And once they get a foothold in your community, you will never get rid of them. So what our government is doing is they're importing voters. They're taking the playbook, the Democrat playbook from the States. Yeah. And that's what they're doing. That's why they're encouraging people to join their party, stuff like that. So I can see that. I can see it quite openly. So my tribalist instincts tell me, no. At this present point in time, huge amounts of Indians, bad. Huge amounts of Pakistanis, bad. Especially because the Pakistanis, but majority of them would also be Muslim. Huge amounts of Somalis or any African, bad, just because of the amount of numbers. You know what I mean? There's lads who have been living in this country for the last 30, 40 years, the third and fourth generations, that are absolutely decent people, fine, got with the program, like the pint of Guinness, love the bit of Ireland. They just assimilated to
love Ireland, integrate, happy
out. Cause no harm whatsoever. There's another problem with second generation scumbags. You see a lot in Galway. I don't know how bad it is in Cork. I know they do. You have the black gangs in Cork, don't you?
Remember those videos that went around there, and they were
they're trying to be I was like, try to be London thingies. They all have to go. Yeah, I've no problem in saying that, because I will not tolerate that fake gang culture in Ireland.
And actively going around and targeting white children and saying so in the videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there is racism against whites. Look, I've no, but we are a minority. Yeah, the Irish on the planet, we are a minority. We are, white people in general are a minority.
We're a minority in our own country. But I don't know if I was saying this to you, but my youngest said to me the other day, he said, "Mum, there's 2 Irish boys in my class, me and another boy." And I said, "Are you serious?" And he said, "Jan, there's 3 Irish girls. That's 5 Irish children in the whole class out of 22. 5 Irish children." Now, you wouldn't mind, they've recently amalgamated the schools, so the boys and girls schools are together. So now there's 2 classes, say of first, 2 of second, 2 of third. And the other class is exactly the same. That's Ireland.
Population replacement.
Yeah. And my eldest, then he's in secondary, and he said, "Yeah, my class would be pretty much the same." Yeah, it's the minority, absolutely the minority.
So the government aren't going to stop. Okay. So the people are going to keep coming. Life is going to get more and more expensive and difficult for Irish people. They will never get on the housing list. They will never have kids. Irish people will stop marrying. We get smaller and smaller and smaller, and eventually we will have to kind of for our own safety, create enclaves. We'll probably keep moving to the west. It'll be to Connacht or to hell again. That will be that is our current trajectory and fate.
Yeah.
How do we undo it, given the restrictions we're under from an EU dictatorship, and given the fact that we have simpletons, weaklings and morons who are in seats of power? And I'm not just talking about the TDs. There's a huge, your county council has way more power than you think it does, and the county councils get their orders directly from Europe. They don't even come from Dublin, they come directly from Europe. So how do we combat that? How do we save ourselves?
You see, I don't think we're voting our way out of anything. I don't think we're asking nicely. It'll be incitement to hate if, God forbid, I said stand up for your country. Do you know, it'd be incitement to violence if I said, God forbid, get out on the fucking street. And why are they be? Ursula von der Leyen, right, was not elected by anyone. By anyone. Who is she and Soros and Schwab to be saying, "Oh, listen, you're all going to do this now"? And why are the rest of them all going along with it? Like, the people should be out. This all went up, but what are you doing? I can't do it by myself, nor can you. One person, you know what I mean? Everyone has to be out. Politicians, back in the day, not maybe even that long ago, would be terrified of the people for doing far less than they're doing now. The only way this is going to change is if people actually get out and stop it and make it stop. Sitting around and waiting and hoping for it, no, sure, you may as well be whistling up into the air there. Just go and do anything.
How far do we need to go?
I think you know exactly how far we need to go.
Is it okay if I said to you that I don't want that to happen, that I would rather retreat, build walls, and live behind them, than we'll say go to a more violent. Do you think if we got communities together that were willing to all relocate and just live and actually be as self-sufficient as we can, do you think the state would leave us alone?
No. And I don't think that they will stop. Like, Ireland's not big enough for it. It's not like we can just be like, oh, we're in Alaska, fuck off away from around us now. You know what I mean? They're going to keep on coming. They're going to keep on multiplying. So they're already paying the farmers down west there to just stop growing their farms and just let them overgrow. So like they're going to keep coming. They're going to keep filling the place up. And eventually, no matter how many of us families get together, and that's my idea, go to the commune, live there, homeschool, as many dogs as we want, our own rules. Thank you very much. Do our own thing. How long is that going to be before there's way more of them than us? And you know what I mean? We're locked in then. I think none of us want that. None of us want that. But what else are we supposed to do? Keep on asking them nicely with our flags and head back home again at 5 o'clock? Do you know what I mean? I don't see how else is going to happen.
I never saw the protests as anything to achieve anything. I use them as networking events. It's great to just get up and chat to people and see people you haven't seen in person. Absolutely. And meet some other people and share some ideas and stuff like that. So they're not actually ever going to do anything. The only time a protest will work is basically if you literally break into Dáil Éireann and wreck the place, or you shut down that would be a good one. But you need all counties involved. Shut down the council office. Just shut down. Just basically say there's no councillors going to work. We're keeping you out for a month, and that's it. Now they love the time off and stuff like that. I'll be great with them. But that kind of a movement could get people. Could get a local movement. Could get people a little bit fired up.
Maybe
you'd ask how many women have to be raped? How many children have to be murdered? How many? Like, you look at Sweden. Sweden still isn't dealing with its problems. It's getting there slowly, but they've also decided they're going to stop recording statistics by ethnicity, which they were doing, but they now know it's so bad that they have to
just ignore it. Then we'll just pretend it's not God.
The UK, like fully communist government, so it's not surprising what's happening there. But at the same time, the people got out in big numbers and stuff like that. But there's nothing actually happening. Like, you have a lot of people exiting the cities, going to the country, and this is what I'm talking about. The Islamic conquest of the Iberian Peninsula. Like, the Islamists had most of Europe. You know what I mean? And the Spanish, I don't know what they were called at the time, retreated to the mountains, and they were there for centuries almost, and they were just farmers. And then they actually decided, you know what, we've had enough of this, and about 800 of them said, "Feck this, we're coming down the mountain and we're going kicking the Moors out of the country." And it took hundreds of years, but they pushed them back all the way to the Middle East. And then when Islam started to rise again and started to take land, you had the Crusades. But life is so different now that those tactics, let's just say, for example, and this is just hypothetical, let's just say I organize 100 men and we're going, okay, we're at war now. The government declared war on us, and we are going involved in actions, etc., etc. We're going doing something, and we decide that, okay, the greatest threat to us at the moment is Islam. We're burning down all their mosques. For a fact that 100 men and all their associates will be in prison, incarcerated, locked up for the rest of their lives. Within, I'd say, before the first match was lit, everybody will be lifted, picked up, and stuff like that. Because there's no secrets, there's no safe social media, there's no safe way of communicating. We live in a totalitarian state, surveillance state. So without that capacity to get people together and organize, what are you left with?
But sure, how did they do it back in the day? They had no social media, they had no nothing.
Oh, it's
And look
easier.
what
But
they did.
sure, look at
The biggest empire in the world that had planted half the bloody world, and we were only this with our pitchforks. We were, and we were like, "Fuck off, lads! Forget about it." Like, there's no way that any of us should just be like, "Listen, can't do it that way." So, like, I'm not going to give in to any of their bullshit, right? Any of their corruption, any of their quietening us down, any of us putting us back. You can't have this. You can't have that. No, absolutely not. You can see the state of Iran. There's nothing that I won't try. There's nothing that I won't exhaust, because just sitting around and just saying no, or I can't do this, or this isn't going to work, it's not an option. There is no other option other than winning era. That is it, and any means necessary.
Have you made peace with that?
Yeah.
And this kind of delves into, we'll say, personal things. You don't have to answer it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you spoke to your kids about it, about what it could potentially mean?
Well, no, I wouldn't be talking to them about that kind of stuff now.
No, but not even that. But would they be aware that just for even we'll talk about your TikTok in a while as well. Just from your TikTok posts, there is a potential that someday An Garda Síochána will be knocking on your door, arresting you for TikToks. We're not that far away from it, and it's happened to Kirk Loco, it's happened to Philip Dwyer, it's happened to a lot of people.
It's just a madness. It's just an absolute madness. I mean, like, whoever thought we'd be having sentences like that? Do you know what I mean?
It's mad world we're living in, yeah.
The TikTok, I mean, like, and people are getting offended over TikToks and hearty words. They want to cop onto themselves. Seriously, they're going to go out the door and they're going to get a lot more than a hearty word off the machete wield in Abu Dhabi's, like, you know what I mean? They'd want to seriously cop onto themselves. Hearty words, I'm so offended. Oh, I can't take this. That's why we have a shower of fucking pussies going around the place, so we do. That's what they are, every single one of them snowflakes with their tight little jeans and they're this, that, and cop onto yourself and go out and dirt your hands there for 5 minutes. That's what the lads need. The lads need to get out and do a bit of work and get off the phones and stop worrying about their hair and this. What is the story? Have you noticed this? And I don't mean this in like the whole transgender gate type of a way. But what is the crack with men being more feminine? But I don't mean gay men. I mean straight men. And women are way more masculine. What is like?
So, do you see this?
Mm.
So, my son and I joke about this. And when he looks at pictures of me when I was his age, I sort of already looked like an old man since I was about 14. It's just genetics. It's just it. But he says even with his friends when he talks about it, that, you know what I mean, none of them were properly shaven till they were almost 20.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And it's a mix of, okay, we know the food supply is poisoned. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
We know that testosterone levels are dropping in men. Again, I think it's by design. I'm saying I think. I'm trying to, Aaron said, gosh, I know it's by design.
Yeah. We think it's by design.
Yeah, water supply, food supply. You get a softened, more effeminate. They're a lot less hairy. And then now I'm gonna throw some stuff at you that you're not gonna like, because I'm gonna give women some shit. Okay.
What?
What is a man supposed to be?
Okay, well, I get a lot of stick for my traditional views and I put feminism back 100 years and yada, yada, yada.
Good.
This is what people tell me, like, but I like men to be men. I don't think that they should be stereotypically unemotional and cold, and none of that stuff. Have emotions, be able to talk, be able to express yourself. But I mean, physically, men tend to be taller, tend to be stronger, tend to be bigger in the majority of cases. There is that element of protection, and I suppose looking after kind of a thing from the man. It's just the way. I don't think it's just a society thing. I think it's just a man-woman thing. I mean, women are generally more maternal, more emotional, more kind of understanding, more empathetic, and that's why we work so well together. I think men should be Now, having said that, there are some men, I don't mean it has to be stereotypical life, but there are some men that I know myself that stay home and look after the kids, and the wife prefers to go out and whatever, and they do a great job with that. Doesn't make them any less of a man or whatever. But what I mean is this whole very like effeminate thing, and the boys are under so much pressure, like their hair, their weight, eating disorders, this and that. That shouldn't be a man. That's as far as I'm concerned. That shouldn't be a man. It just shouldn't be. That's not the way I see it. And I know everyone's going to be like, oh my God, she's terrible. They shouldn't be. Men shouldn't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Women shouldn't worry about that kind of stuff either. But men, why are they worrying about that? Why do they care?
There's a whole section of society of married men walking around with no testicles because the wife keeps them in her handbag. And we accepted, again, you have to remember, feminism was a CIA construct. It was designed to turn women into taxpayers, and again break the family cycle, family unity. So women, and I don't mind saying this, got a bit above their stations and got a bit got a bit needy and got a bit fucking demanding and wanted a bit fucking too much, and the man has to go out and fucking earn it. So I'm going to boil it back down to the cave, right? Me man, me make fire, me make food. You woman, you stop me eating babies. You boil it down to, it really is as simple as that. Simplify. Don't complicate things, and that's it. Now, man should fucking worship his woman and fucking make sure that she has everything she needs, within reason. And then there are certain roles and duties that, should be performed, and this, that, and the other. And you should make time for yourself. And you say that, men should talk about their emotions. Yeah, we shouldn't really that much. You don't need to fucking, it's more important for you to bottle all your shit up. So when the time comes, hang on. No. So when the time comes and you need to actually release that anger, that it's fucking there. It's very, very important to have a reserve of resentment, anger, and energy, as long as you're pointing it in the right direction. It's extremely important, and this thing of you need to talk about everything, you need to share. Men are supposed to be stoic. We're supposed to be a bit quiet. We're supposed to be a little bit distant, because we're supposed to have the ability at any single point to turn into a savage in the event we have to protect our families. And if you stop, I worry that people stop thinking like that. I never stop thinking like that. I think about all the bad things that can happen and what I'm going to do to stop it happening in relation to my nuclear family. I know, women get, you in general, women are more emotional creatures, but the new breed of woman is ungrateful. And again, I don't mind saying it. They don't. The amount of busy women I meet, and I laugh about it. People coming in my work, and I'm in such a rush. No problem. I'll have that done for you in 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go and get a coffee. She comes back an hour and a half later. I was talking to someone, and you can't. Also, you weren't in a rush. You just think you're in a rush, and you like to tell people that you're in a rush, and that's a very, very, very common trait that I see in relationships. That's why I always tell people, slow down. Stop demanding so much. Your husband actually owes you nothing, and the same as the wife owes the husband nothing. If you decided to get married and you decided to have kids together, you owe the children a good home and a roof over the head and 3 meals a day, and that you're kind and caring to each other. This thing that you don't, you form a partnership and you figure it out. You know what I mean? And then you accept the fact that you're not the same person. That's very, very, very important. You cannot turn your husband into what you want him to be, nor can he turn you into what he wants you to be.
But you shouldn't have to do that either. You know what I mean? If you change them, they're not the one,
Yeah. Did you ever hear the expression, I wanted him to want to fill the dishwasher?
Nobody wants to fill the dishwasher.
You've given the right answer there, but it's I want him to want to fill the dishwasher. That's the most unreasonable statement that I've ever heard a human make about their spouse or partner.
Was that Jennifer Aniston and Vince Vaughn in the breakup?
Possibly, yeah.
Is that? I think it was, yeah. And I remember I got her point too, though. She's like, I want him. I don't think she wants him to want to fill the dishwasher because everybody's allergic to that shit. When mine's taking it apart, taking it out of it, that bugs the fuck out of me, man. But like, I think she meant she wanted him to not want her to be doing it all. She wanted him to be like, have some consideration for her. She was at work too. She was like, oh, come on, you know. But
there's that. Okay, so there is that when both spouses are working and the woman is still expected to do all of the housework. No, that's not that's not fair. But then again, I want to live in a society where only one person has to work. I don't care whether it's the husband or the wife. Only one person should be working. You should not have to give 80 to 90 hours a week between you away of your time, of your labor, to be able to carve out a decent life for yourselves. I didn't have to do it 25 years ago. I was able to work and support. My wife didn't have to work. It was great. Those pluses and minuses to it. But for the most part, it was a good life. But I don't have a need for things or stuff or holidays or any of the frivolous activities normal people would call what you do for fun. I do different things for fun. So it's what you like. Less people are getting married. Less people are having children.
I think that's because people can't afford to have more children. I think a lot of people would love to have more children, but like the reality is that they can't afford it, and they're afraid of being able to say, Jesus, what if I can't afford this, and what if I can't afford that? What if I have to say no to my children again? Because there's nothing worse than that feeling than saying, and they're like, oh, everyone has it and everyone has this, and I'm like, well, have your classes from another country, you know. And
but is this not half the problem, that we need to take responsibility for making our children soft, because we grew up in a time where there was money in the country. I've grown up and I've started in a recession, lived through one of the most financially beneficial times to be alive in Ireland, and then through another recession, and now we're probably facing into a massive depression. But in the time where the country had money, we gave too much, because everybody had loads of holidays and everybody had two cars, and the kids got the PlayStations and they got the this and they got that and the other. And
I don't know, I've only had like maybe 2 or 3 holidays in the last 10 years, you know what I mean? So I don't think a lot of people maybe did it, and especially people, if maybe you grew up within it, that's what you knew. You didn't think it was ever going to end. Maybe you didn't know any different. For me, I have known different. So there'll always be an element to me that's careful. There was a time when I was younger. I would have been out of home though, and it was a really tough time, like very, very, very hard time. It was the difference between eating and eating, and usually it would be eating for one, you know. So that would be my child, and it was a really, really hard time, and it's a very deflating time. It's a horrible time actually, because you feel like a failure, you feel like a terrible person. So when you've lived in that, and you've known coldness like that, you've known hunger like that, you've watched, you know, those situations unfold around you, I think there's always going to be an element in you that's careful, that is always trying to, like, you know, not be too frivolous and not be too this and stuff like that. I think just sticks with you, you know what I mean?
It's good then to, and again, I call it the filth to life. It's a very good thing to have been touched by it, to understand it. I've been hungry. I've slept on benches, not for very long, but I had to do it. It's a case of, it teaches you to be grateful for what you have and what you've earned and what you've created. How do you instill that sense of gratitude into an entire population?
Wow. I don't know. I think the first thing that we need to instill into them is pairs of balls anyway, because we need to, like, we can't, that's like, gratitude, I think, is the least of our problems at the moment. We have a serious problem on our hands. We have the wars on our doorstep, and like Agenda 2030, we're 6 years into it. Never mind gratitude at the moment. We need to genuinely start getting people to get out of their houses and start going, enough is enough. But they're just sitting there. They kind of won't defend themselves. Never mind be grateful about anything. You know what I mean? It's like there's Did you watch Stranger Things? It's like Vecna is just sitting there like this, over the whole lot of them, just going, and I'm just like.
But that is essentially what's happening. There's military grade propaganda campaigns being bombarded on people. It's been happening for years. There's some that will claim from a spiritual point of view that the country's actually been under spell for a huge amount of time. You know what I mean? And until that spell is broken, that we don't wake up. There's so many ideas. There's so many different routes. There's so many different avenues. But there's such a lack of cohesion. And again, everything has to happen locally. You could only work in your own local community, so you try and do things that, but you're usually one person or maybe two people or three people. It's very 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 difficult. Do you ever I won't say I know you well enough to say that you're never going to give up, but have you had times, we're going to talk about mental health for a while, have you had times in the last couple of years where it's been so overwhelming that it's not that you want to give up, it's that you physically don't know what to do next, or you can't keep going forward?
Absolutely, yeah. There's been times where I've been so burnt out. There was a time I made myself really, really ill. The worry, I was just empty reaching for like all day. I lost a lot of weight again. I didn't sleep properly for weeks. It was just constantly. And I've had these dreams for years. And there's times where it's affected me so badly to the point that like I'm shaking, and my mental health was just like, I'd have 2 or 3 bad days there where I'm like, the dreams could be really bad. And I just feel so down and so low, and that I just couldn't stop crying. And that's happened. It wouldn't be often, but it's definitely happened more than once, where I've had like a really down kind of a time, or a couple of days, or even a couple of weeks. And that can be really, really hard to come out of. But when you think about it, you're talking about everything you ever knew being a lie. You're talking about all the positions and powers of authority actually being against you. You're talking about fighting this mammoth battle against, the big iron giant, and it's just, little old you. And I mean, how could your mental health not be all over the place? Looking at how much evil is happening in the world, the courts turning a blind eye to every rape, every murder, every child abduction. How could your mental health not go down the drain? You know what I mean? And then there's times when you feel like you're going nowhere, or you feel like you're working around the clock to try and do stuff, but really don't feel like you're making any progress or any steps forward. That's soul destroying, you know what I mean? And of course that's going to affect you. And it has definitely affected my mental health quite bad. It's times where I go quiet there sometimes, and I'm like, lads, I just can't do it. Sorry, I can't do it. I need to just, absolutely, yeah, there has. And that's perfectly normal, and people shouldn't be afraid of that. You know what I mean? This is a fucking hard, horrible time. You know what I mean?
So that's how do you then pull Deborah out of that to Deborah who dances on the
music,
on the TikToks?
Music and dancing. That's my honest to God, music and dancing is my best therapy. When it gets really bad, the earphones go in. There's a couple of songs that I do on repeat that just kind of, there's some songs that just kind of transport me to somewhere else. I feel I think there's certain songs for everyone. If you love music, that we're just they'll awaken something inside you, and they'll make you feel stuff. So that I'll do that. Bit of dancing sometimes will kind of get the endorphins flowing, and sometimes a bit of meditating. But the best fix I could say I could always have is getting out into nature, preferably somewhere where there's no signal, like the mountains, bit of camping, something like that. 3 or 4 days in that, and you're just reset,
Yeah, it's fantastic. I haven't actually been out in the tent in, it feels like years. I know it was last year sometime.
Love it. You're too cold for it now, though. I'd love a camping.
That you need the hardship. Oh, you have to do your penance. Yeah, no. There's a reason to go camping in winter. It's about a little bit of penance and being cold and being hungry and stuff like. And yeah, you need to do it. Maybe it's a mad man thing, or
maybe. But I mean, like, would you not get the frostbite like your man up in Donegal says? Remember that, lad? Would you not get the frostbite? Remember that fella?
Not at all. A couple of pairs of socks,
sure
good pair of boots.
A good pair of socks, sure, we'd be grand then. Out in -1.
Two pairs of socks. You can actually get sealskin socks.
No way.
Dry and wet, yeah. My young fella has them inside there and stuff like that. But
Oh,
listen, you can. There's no reason to be cold, even in the coldest time. If you have all of the, I'm talking about if you're homeless and sleeping on the streets, of course you're going to bloody freeze to death. But if you have, if you're out doing it for
yeah.
enjoyment, you can buy. That's the other thing that is like, why isn't there huge amounts of proper, not just sleeping bags, but proper foil blankets and actual stuff that can genuinely keep you warm and dry for the homeless and stuff. Like, I see sleeping bags and tents and stuff, people donate stuff, but there's actually, we should probably start looking at building stockpiles of stuff that these people can actually use and that are a benefit, and teach them how to use it, and say, look, when it gets really fucking cold, these are small little foil blankets, just fucking wrap yourself up in them, fucking ball them up, stick them in under your armpits, fucking, you know what I mean? Just there's definitely more we can.
Of course there is. There's so much more. I mean, we have to walk around and we can see. It breaks my heart. Like, I haven't been to the city in a long time, but I remember the last time when I was in there, it was a girl, like, Martin, I swear she was maybe about 21, 22 or something, and she told me where her store reached at an awful life, and it started to rain and all, like, and she was just like, she was going to be sitting in that doorway for the rest of the evening, like, you know. So I was like, can I get you something? Can I get you this? Is after money for a hostel. Oh no, sure. If I go over there, she said, it's just junkies and this, that, and the other, and then this. And I was like, can you, I mean, like, what do you do here? Like, you know what I mean? I wanted to take away home me, but sure, you can't do that either when you have kids at home and stuff like that. Like, all I could do was buy her a cup of tea, something to eat, and give her my coat, like, and then leave her there. That's all I could do for her.
But that's more than most would do. So, Cork,
he was left there, like, he can be left there that night and every other night after it. Do you know what I mean?
We'll talk about the city. I had just before Christmas went down to meet some colleagues and had a night out, and it was very fun. I have to say, I hadn't been out in Cork in a very, very long time, and I walked around the city, and I was surprised. I was there. This actually isn't that bad. I was there actually. I was counting the guards in the street and stuff like that, and I was counting, seeing what's going around. The youngsters in their 12 pubs and the Christmas jumpers and all that kind of stuff. And it was fairly okay. About kind of 1:30, 2 o'clock came in. You know what? I'm not doing the dog on this now. I'm walking back to the hotel, and I always walk everywhere. I don't do taxis. I walk everywhere because I like to see what's going on at night. And fuck me, it changes after 1:30.
Yep.
And fuck me, it's like fucking vampires coming out from the shadows. All of a sudden, the demographic of which I hadn't noticed in the establishments I was in, the streets got very fucking dark.
Very different.
And there was a lot of an awful lot more fucking Arab and Asian men out on the streets. I did follow two girls who were I didn't know if they were being harassed or not. And I asked them and they said, no, we're okay. But these two fucking Indian fucking barflies or Bangladeshi, wherever they were, they're like flies fucking flying around shit. And I couldn't tell whether they knew each other or not, but they were inclined to say, no, we're fine, this kind of thing. I just asked, I said, are you okay? And they went, yeah, we're fine. And there's nothing outside of that. There's nothing else you can do. You know what I mean? Like, you can
follow them around for the night, which we've done.
I did. I went up and down the street, and I turned and went back again. I went to say, I was hoping that they'd get into a taxi or something like that.
We've done the exact same when we've been doing patrols in Cork, and it's like that, and they'll follow them around. And the lads have actually said to me, they were like, we actually went down this way just to see if they were pretending to stop following the girls. And sure enough, when they came around this side, the lads had rounded and come back following the girls again from the other way. You know?
Yeah. So it was extremely noticeable. That's all I can say. And literally these guys are not in the pubs. They're not in the clubs.
They're outside afterwards when it's closing time and everyone's drunk and vulnerable. That's when they come out.
Yeah. It was, and like I said, it was so noticeable.
You
know, very, 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 very scary. My daughter heads up to Dublin a small bit and goes out there. I'd be absolutely fucking terrified.
Yes, she would.
She goes out now. Look, she goes with some fairly clued in friends. She's not naive either. So
that's it, though, Martin. It's not even them we're worried about. It's not even having to worry about our own children anymore. It's worrying about the other people. You know, that's the problem. The different ideologies, the no kind of regard for human life and everything like this. None of us should have to worry about this or think this way.
Mud sharks.
Mud sharks.
Yeah. So it's a derogatory term for women who go off with people of a different ethnicity. You know what I mean? So
that's terrible. That's awful.
It's horrible, yeah. But we have a problem with Irish women degrading themselves. I told you it was going to be a bit hard on women today. Degrading themselves by mixing with these people. You know what I mean? It's because I said this to the a guy who proudly calls himself racist in Ireland, and we had a conversation about this, and I would have to agree with him in the sense that as an Irish woman, you are. I'll never deny love. Love is love, and love conquers all. So I'll never deny love. But you are degrading yourself if you are having frivolous relationships with immigrants. I don't
Maybe
mind
they
saying
don't
that.
think they're frivolous. Maybe they think it's going to go somewhere at the time. Maybe. I'm trying to be devil's advocate here.
I don't. I don't.
See, I told you I was the nice one. I told you.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I'm not half as nice as you thought I was. You thought I was nice.
Yeah, but no, you were like, no. See, I'm not.
I have a street nastiness in me that is, yeah. Like I said, I keep my stuff bottled in, and when it needs to come out, it comes out. But it's a case of, I think we need to do an education piece and need to make it very, very uncool and unpopular to race mix in the short term, because we're fighting for our survival. We talk about extreme measures, and we've kind of touched on things that may have to be done, but this is a difficult conversation that has to be had, that if you want your white Irish race to survive, your white Irish man and your white Irish woman have to keep together, if so to speak, and you can't have too many other ethnic backgrounds getting in there, because if you keep mixing all the colors, it's like Mala, Play-Doh, whatever you want to call it. I call it Mala. If you mix all the colors together, we've all done this. What color do you get?
Brown.
It's this muddy, grey, browny shit color. Yeah. All of the beautiful different colors disappear, and you get this just horrible, dull shit. That horrible, dull shit is what they're trying to create.
Of course they are. That's the clergy plan. They literally said it in word for word, 1921. We want to flood the West with what did they call them? With Africans, and they said we will create a race of Eurasian Negroids that will have
Negroids. That's the one. Yeah.
Eurasian Negroids that will have an IQ of 90. They will be dumb enough to be controlled, but intelligent enough to work. That is word for word out of the clergy plan. What is happening here?
Yeah. But how do you stop it? You make it, we have to use the tools of the enemy. We have to use propaganda. You have to make it very, very unpopular for Irish women to, and I'm going to steal Councillor Tom MacDonald's word, the breed.
Actually, the amount of people that have said to me over the last few years, you need to have more babies. And I was like, do you know how fucking old I am, do you?
I've actually thought about that. Like, I have 3 kids. And more never happened for various reasons, but like technically, because I started so young, I am technically young enough to do it all again, and I still won't be ancient by the time, if I was to found somebody to start having kids again. But I wouldn't do it because there's a couple of reasons. I wouldn't do it to my existing family. I wouldn't do it to myself, and I wouldn't inflict who I've become on somebody else as a parent figure. I'm a very different person to who I was when 25, 26 years ago, when my first son was born. And it's a case of there's definitely a little bit of joy gone out of me, and I don't think that would be good for, you know what I mean? I'd probably end up raising a couple of soldiers, so to speak, as opposed to functioning, happy individuals.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
But young people,
for me as well, that's like, well, I don't want to be like, super old when my kids are like 20 or something like that, like, and be like, even my kids are like, oh, come on, have another one, we'd love it. Even the other day now, I swear down, do you know what they said to me? They said, It just changed Mom's pill there. You know, this is the conversation my two sons had laughing beside me. We just changed Mom's pill there. And then I said, my older son said it right. And guess what the younger one said now, right? Quick as a button, Martin, straight out of the box, he goes to him, here, you may change them all though, because what if she doesn't know and she takes the wrong one? So you may take them all and change them for Tic Tacs just in case. I was
like, well, do you know what? Isn't it a lovely household that you have where you can have that conversation with your boys? You know what I mean?
Ah, yeah, we're very close, very, very, very close, very close, and I love that.
Yeah. What ages roughly? I don't want to give
14 and 9.
Oh, brilliant! That's you still have all the fun in the house and the messing and stuff like that. And
oh yeah, well, we still have all the teenage stuff too, because that seems to be happening way earlier, like way earlier than it did for us. Way earlier, everything seems to be earlier for the kids, the teenagers, the developmental thing. The stuff they know, the things they're doing.
It's mobile phones. Look, you've access to all the information, so it's a case of you're.
It's not just information, Martin. It's what they're doing. I see them around the place, like they're drinking, they're smoking, they're this, they're that, and I'm fucking vaping.
Like what age? Oh, the vaping is okay. So what age were you when you had your first smoke?
16.
I was 11.
No way.
What age you had your first drink, or ditch drinking like?
Oh yeah, about 16.
11. So like, there's different. I started life very early for lots of reasons, and I was as rural as like
11.
Yeah, first fag, Leigh Mahoney gave it to me, and it was Benson and Hedges. Yeah,
no way.
Yeah.
Jesus, when I was 11, the only thing I cared about was my Hurley, right? And that continued on until about 14.
I've something I'm extremely guilty about, but it's a funny story. By 12 or 13, these little Bibles, the little ones you get in schools. I still have one of those, but by 12, I was tearing pages out of Revelations and making rollies with it and smoking it. Yeah. So
Revelations of all the things. That's a really good one. Read
I thought I was the coolest thing ever. I'm smoking the devil pages like stop. It's funny, but I love that I still have one of those little Bibles that they give out in schools. I still give them out in schools. So I think that's one of my kids' ones. Yeah, that's one of my kids' ones.
Jesus, I don't know. I don't think this.
Yeah, that's my daughter's. She's a lefty, so she's not using it. So.
I think we've all changed an awful lot though over the while, whether it be towards religion, whether it be towards our stance, our personality, what we've become. I don't think any of us could have went through, I suppose, the awakenings that we went through and the influx of information that we've had, whether that be you're a person that takes it in through thoughts, through feelings, through energies, through words, through body language, or you do all of the above. None of us, I think, are the same people. And if we were, we probably wouldn't be able for what's coming next. You know what I mean? So everything has a progression, but I think there's a meaning to it all,
What's coming next?
You know what I think is coming next. But I don't know if I can say.
You need to tell the audience. They know as well, but we have to say it out loud. Do you think total financial collapse then war, or do you think war followed by massive depression for very, very long time, just to get everybody on the handout system?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I think they've had that many tricks up their sleeve now, and the majority of them we've seen coming and known they've been coming, and we've probably spoken about them beforehand and stuff. But the way everything has become so inverted and so topsy-turvy, anything's liable to happen. There could be another thing they're going to throw out there, another spanner in the middle of it all. You know what I mean? But
I thought we were getting aliens last year, to be honest with you.
Project Bluebeam.
Yeah, I think that's on the cards again. As far as I know, yes, one or two people talking about it in the know, saying, "Yeah, don't be surprised.
We better get a digital ID just in case if the aliens come, they'll be able to account for us."
Yeah, I won't be. In relation to that, have you plans to get out of the system, get off the grid completely?
Absolutely. Listen, if they think they're going tracking me like an animal, I'm up and out of here. Good luck and thanks. I would happily be gone right now to the commune if I could get everyone else to agree. But
is it something that we should be talking about more? Is it something that we should be promoting more? Is it something that we should be? I talk about it quite a bit. It's just about finding preferably land near
Land,
water
food
supply.
source, water source.
We need river. You also don't want to be too far from the coast either. That's the big thing, and you're sacrificing fertility a little bit in relation to land close to get to the coast. But you do want to be able to have boat access and sea fish as well as river fish.
Absolutely.
Land, tunnels, walls, gun turrets, big gates,
Dogs.
a couple of other lots of
Dogs.
dogs. Yeah, lots of dogs. Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love it. If I can't do it as a group, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm just going to find somewhere and just literally stick up a small, humble cabin with a stove, and I'll just live my life. And those who want to come and visit me from time to time.
But how long will you have the cabin, Martin? Look what they're doing to Sean Meehan up in Tipperary. How long will you have that cabin before they're over telling you to take it down? You know what I mean?
Well, I'm also going to get one of the I Shot JR t-shirts from Father Ted.
Sit there.
And I'll be very, 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 very like that.
I like it, yeah.
Yeah.
I would be too. I'd be like, get off my land. Like, I'm like Steve from Braveheart. It's my fucking island. You know what I mean? It's my island.
That's why. Why don't people have pride? Why don't people have that pride that it is my island? And that's how I look at it. It's my fucking island. It's my people's island. I can trace my people back.
Have they bought into this? Have they bought into this whole like this whole white guilt bullshit and this whole like, oh, you shouldn't be, my God forbid, if you're white or if you're a Christian and you're proud of something, you're oppressing somebody else. Like, you know, maybe they bought into this brainwashed absolute cack. You know what I mean? I can't account for all of them, but some of them, I think they just don't care. And maybe do we have a part to play in that? And that maybe there's not the emphasis being put on. There's not leaders in control who love their country. If this country is being led by spiritless leaders, where's the spirit going into the people? You know what I mean? If they're not instilling anything, and if they're not making an importance of, say, the language, the customs, the traditions, it just fades away. You know what I mean?
Have you met one?
What?
A leader.
Oh, like, I mean the selected, not elected ones. I don't mean they're actual leaders, you know.
No, but I'm saying, but have you met one?
Any of the politicians that are in power, like?
Not even talking politicians. I'm talking. Have you ever truly met a leader in any walk of life? Have you met somebody that you go, yeah, there's somebody that I'll dig trenches with, and basically, if we're going down that road, then fucking, you know what I mean? We'll go down together. I've met loads of people with ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I've met loads of people with willpower. I haven't yet met someone that I can say is truly, yeah, this is the guy that everybody's going to follow. I don't even think he's been born yet. I personally think we have to build him or her. I don't think it can happen naturally anymore. But I listen. My circle isn't massive. I could be wrong. That person could be there, and they're sitting in the shadows, or you know, they're be
like Kung Fu Panda, and he just realizes all of a sudden one day he's having a bowl of rice, and he's like, and he realizes he's a dragon warrior. You know, could be somebody that's right under our nose all the time. Who knows? Could be you, Murphy. Could be you.
No, definitely not. It's not that I do not have the capacity to lead. I'm the wrong person to do it. I'm very, very good at management. I don't have an issue with that. You don't want someone like me in charge ever. I will be everything that they accuse the far right of being. I will be it, and worse. So no, you have to have a more moderate temp. I'm not joking. The anger that I have bottled up is, and we're not quite ready for public hangings, etc. yet. So in the future,
I think that would have actually been a lovely kind of memorial for Aisling Murphy's anniversary. That would have been lovely.
A public hanging. She would have had lefties out there fucking.
I'm sure that's fine. Let them line up if they want to come on. Let them line up.
Ruining it by going, oh, he was misunderstood. He was that's suicidal empathy. That's suicidal empathy.
These people are just they. There's no sense or reason to them. I mean, they're like. I saw one there earlier, and it was the ICE officers in America, and he was like, "Your one was obstructing the car and whatever," and he stopped and he said, "Do you actually know what we're doing? We're here like arresting a child sex offender." And like you're stopping here and you're stopping us, and you're like, you're not letting us go in, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're shouting at us, you're blocking the road. And she's like, for that person, like they don't even have a clue what they're doing. They don't, it's just like, here's my thing, I need to do this. All this altruism, all this virtue signaling, it's bollocks. Like where is it for everything? It's only on certain things that they care about, surely.
Yeah, well, look, Nigerian Christians, they don't get much. Where's their flag? You know, I like that there's 80 odd active conflicts around the globe at any given time, and yeah, we'll choose 2 flags and give them to you, and they're the ones you have to wave. Yeah, the virtue signaling is just but what is it? What is it? You know, they call it the woke mind virus. Like, is it like somebody pushed that there? Or is it a case of
course it did.
They never had it. They never had the internal voice to tell them right from wrong in the first place. And they're
no. I think somebody put that there. I think this has been a massive psyop for so long, and I think this has been going on for a really long time. And it's been a quiet indoctrination,
mission creep,
for all of us. You know, through the TV, through school, through the adverts, through the books that we read, through the magazine covers that we look at, through the ads that we see in the city. Every little bit of it has been to turn us. And okay, you're watching a video now and you see the likes of David Beckham or whatever, and blah blah blah. It's coming in, these all the boys are like, oh yeah, maybe you wouldn't have seen Roy Keane do that 20 years ago, coming in and put on his bit of cream, whatever. He'd be like, will you fuck off? Do you know what I mean? But when they get other people to portray the image that they want, and then they amplify that because they have the money to do that. You know yourself, right? You control the media, you control the narrative, past, present. And if they have the money to make a narrative true, which they do, they have like
endless funds.
Unlimited amounts of fuckery is what they have.
Why is Deborah O'Driscoll and Martin Murphy immune to the propaganda?
I don't know. I guess we're the lucky ones. I mean, in one way, you almost think it's like, oh Jesus, it's hard being awake, isn't it? Because it's like a non-stop thing. Like it's kind of a constant thing. But at the same time, would you rather go back to blissful ignorance? No, of course not.
Ooh,
maybe some people
I've had that conversation with myself. As in, I don't think about it in my own terms. I openly say that I went mad during COVID. I lost my marbles and my reason because I couldn't understand what the fuck was wrong with everybody. And I felt like a prisoner, and the only sane man in the asylum, so to speak. And it impacted my personal life and stuff like that. So in that, I suppose I carry a little bit of guilt in relation to that, as in I changed the dynamic of my household. So I've you know what I mean? In relation to blissful ignorance, I wish that others didn't have to be affected by it, so to speak. But look, this is it's life. It is what it is. I wouldn't. I've never been asleep. I've always been awake. I've always been an oddball. So I'm kind of used to it. Like I said, it just went right during COVID.
I think a lot of us have that thing that there's elements of this that I think we can look back in our lives and find that there's always been bits of it with us. Like things like, I don't know, something in school. It could be like, I got suspended in 6th year because I was given out to a teacher about a first year's rights that they had violated. You know what I mean? And I was in 6th year and I was doing honours, everything. And I should have just shut my mouth, be quiet, done my leaving cert. But I couldn't, because it was
not the right thing to do.
And it wasn't right. And I couldn't do it. I ended up getting suspended. And then because I wouldn't just swallow my pride and give them a fake, I'm sorry, sure, fuck you, fuck this, back out of the class again, back out of I've always been that way. There's always been that bit of me that like hates a bully and will do this and whatever. And like you said, you've always had those bits of you too. So maybe we're just destined to be these people. You know what I mean? And it's all been part of it, maybe, because somebody, I guess, has to be the counterbalance. Somebody has to be the voice of reason. Somebody has to, when all the hoods are getting put down, everyone has to pull them back up and go, no, we take them back. You know what I mean? Because that's how we raise the consciousness. By the more people that know, the collective consciousness grows, and then the veil shatters. And when everyone knows about it and everyone's calling them out in it, that's when they have to stop. At the moment, they have people scared financially, or, their homes, they're this, they're that, whatever the case may be. They're scared, and they're just being good little boys and girls. You know what I mean? That's what's happening at the moment.
Debt is fear.
Yeah, absolutely. And a very real fear. Very, very real fear.
I'm nearly free of it. Not quite, but nearly free of it. And I'm just letting the system know as soon as I am free of it, you're fucked.
You'll be coming in strong then, boys.
Oh my God, you've no idea. You've absolutely no idea.
Love it.
Very good. Right. I always like to finish on a positive. So let's talk about something positive. And it's your topic.
Oh, something positive. Okay.
What's good in your life at the minute?
What's good in my life? My children.
Good stuff.
That's what's good in my life. That's what's the constant good in my life. No, don't get me wrong. They're not like angels or perfect or free of trouble. But you know what I mean? I think that's the biggest and always will be the biggest joy in my life is my children. I think they're the reason for my everything, really, you know.
Are you friends?
Yeah.
It's so important.
Absolutely. Like best friends. Now, that's hard then too sometimes because you do have to be the parent, like, you know, and there's teenage things that come up and you're kind of like, oh, like, you know, I can't be your friend in this one because you're going to have to, like, I can't do this. And so, yeah, it can be hard, but we are like super, super, super close. Yeah. 2 of them. And I love that. I hope it lasts forever, although they'll probably like hear this now and they'll be like, shut up.
I love my mammy. I don't mind saying it. I'm very.
No, do you know what? I'm pretty lucky actually. I think I'm okay. We were outside the town there one day and a teenager came over and gave me a big hug in the street and they were like, is that your son? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, you're so lucky. I was like, I really am actually. Most 14-year-olds would be like, fuck off, will you?
Yeah,
you know?
No, good. If a mother-son bond is very, very, very good. It's very, very important. And like I said, I have great respect for my parents, but I get on very, very well with my mother. We still laugh and joke, like, and they
brilliant.
Treat me like a fucking child.
I love that.
So I act like it sometimes. So.
We have to. It's the release, isn't it? You have to. Like you can't stay serious. And God knows, in a word like this, we need the reprieve everything. Like,
you have to have.
You know what I mean?
Have to have the silliness. Yeah. So look, everybody, at least once per week, embrace your silliness. Make a silly TikTok video and go dance and share it with the world. You know what I mean? Or just skip down the street laughing or something.
Do the Phoebe Buffet run. You know Phoebe and Friends when she does the mad run. Do you ever see that episode? And she's running through Rachel's car.
There's legs and arms going everywhere. Yeah.
Just do that run. It's supposed to, like, I did it one time and I was like, you know what, that does feel pretty cool. Although, like, you do feel like
really arms legs. My knees are so bad now. I'm just even the thought of running.
Don't want to do that. I'll take you with me. Right.
I don't want to do that. Too many injuries over the years. But, yeah. Listener, we'll wrap it up. We've gone for an hour and a half. It's a lovely natural conversation. We touched on a lot of subjects. I'm gonna stick you down in the green room. Stay on, don't go anywhere because we'll chat afterwards. Talk to you in a minute.
Thanks very much for having me.
Absolutely, anytime, and we will do it again. I've told everybody that I'm interviewing that, you know, we'll do maybe in 3 months or 6 months time another one just to see what's changed, things better, things worse, etc. I will talk to you shortly. Episode 2 in the bag. Thank you very much for tuning in. That was a lovely conversation. It was nice because it was just very, very free flowing and, you know, not too heavy on anything. It was just a nice chat between 2 people who know each other. So if you enjoyed the conversation, thank you very much for tuning in.